Hey all, I hope you're doing well. Uh, you'll notice that the election came and went, and I didn't have anything to say about it, mainly because it's all just so stupid. But the reason I'm recording this morning is just to put down recent events. Lately, my son has been having a little contest with me to see who can re-kickstart the lucid dreaming. You know, we've had lucid dreams in the past, but he found some channel that was talking about techniques that you could explore, and unfortunately, I haven't really had time to do any of that. I'm just lightly trying to tell myself I'm going to have a lucid dream tonight, then trying to do that. And I have not successfully had that lucid dream yet, but I've noticed since I've started trying to have a lucid dream, like tell myself, remember that you're dreaming tonight. That's essentially that's the technique that I've tried, is just saying to myself before I'm going to bed, okay, tonight, remember. You're just talking to yourself. I would say that on a positive note, ever since I started doing that, I've been sleeping better. Like I sleep all the way through the night now instead of waking up at 2 a.m. and not being able to sleep. I'm sleeping all the way through, and I'm remembering my dreams. So I guess, I'm not quite getting lucid, but at least I am, more actively remembering what I dream and sleeping better. And that's a good thing. I've never heard of a negative result from lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming just seems to always have a lot of positive side effects. I often compare our reality to being similar to the dream state, and when we realize that this is all fake. I mean, this is kind of like what the Mandela effect did for me. Is it made me realize how fake the physical reality world is. But it's very similar to a lucid dream in that way. In a lucid dream, you start realizing, hey, this isn't real. I'm just dreaming. It's closely connected to the two. I feel like, and I've mentioned the word brain fog a lot over the last 8 years. I've said that when I first started seeing the world and the Mandela effect and waking up to all this, the truth of what's going on around me, I still felt that sense of a brain fog, like an active force that's trying to suppress me from being able to see and to know what exactly is going on here. So basically, we're all just trying to punch through that fog to see a little bit more of what's really going on. I feel like our true potential, I've often said, I feel like what we are capable of is being nerfed, suppressed, governed, repressed. There's a controlling force that just doesn't want us to break out. Maybe that's for our own good. I don't know. And just to give an example, and the reason I was even thinking about it this morning is, I've mentioned this before, that sometimes I will be asleep and something happens outside, and I wake up. Like, first I dream that it's happening, like an alarm going off or something like that. I'll dream that it's happening, and then, like right after I'm dreaming it, it happens. And people will say, well, it's actually happening at the same time, but in your dream world, it feels like it's happening before it actually happened. That I've heard that before as an explanation of how so many times, you'll be dreaming something's about to happen, or dreaming something that's happening, and then it just happens. So this morning, I heard my wife's alarm is her phone, and it goes off every day, like 4 a.m. I heard that going off. It wasn't actually going off, but I heard it going off. I woke up fully awake. I was like, okay, did her alarm go off, and did she quickly silence it? Put it on snooze? So 1 minute went by, basically. It's what it felt like, 1 minute. And it went off completely, for legit, for real. And I was like, did you quickly silence that and put it in snooze just right before this, or is this the first time it's going? She said, no, this is the first time it's going off. I didn't do anything. You're crazy. Like, okay, I completely woke up just right before, about a minute before this thing went off. And you could say, well, our subconscious has some sort of perfectly tuned clock and we know exactly what time it is all the time. Perhaps. But I feel like there's just a certain part of us that is really nerfed. Nerfed meaning, reduced. That we have so much more ability. And we have that all the time. If we could tap it, if we could just see that we're just so much more powerful and see things so much more clear, but it's this brain fog that's always around us. And it's not just the physical reality that's brain fogging us. It's society. It's people that are brain fogging you. Anytime you try to tell somebody, and I saw this with the shadow creatures when I was first experiencing the Mandela effect, I'd say, something's going on here. I am seeing things that I'm not supposed to be able to see. I could sense those things from a distance, just getting really upset that I was just calling it out. And people in society, you start mentioning things that you're not supposed to be seeing and doing, and they get kind of upset with you. I mean, they actively move to shut you up, and you do, because it's like, this is pointless telling anybody. This channel basically is my rebellion to that suppression. So it's not just physical reality, it's the people that surround you. The people that surround you actively want to shut you the hell up. You are not supposed to think about it. You're not supposed to realize that your brain is being suppressed and there's a mind fog on you. That society is constantly trying to gear you. I mean, it's perfect. The elections that we just went through. It's a perfect example of society brain fogging you. Society pressuring you. As long as you strongly believe one side or the other, you're okay. But if you say the whole thing is a joke, the whole thing is a farce, well, now you're saying the wrong things. Now you're not supposed to acknowledge that. Now you're just crazy. All right, so here's another. I think I mentioned this too. Here's another dream upon waking thing that I had. So this person here, this Joyce Carol Oates. I'm dreaming. I woke up and I'm repeating a line from one of her books, verbatim, word for word. I'm repeating it. And I type it into Google and look up, where is this phrase coming from? And I find it's attached to her. And one of the things, and this dream happened, probably a month or so ago. So she identifies as a liberal, supports gun control. However, this is the statement that I thought was interesting. Hold on. So I think at the time she made these statements, I think she's leaned left for her whole life, but here she's starting to figure things out. She's starting to see through the fog of reality. And in January of 2019, she stated that Trump he's basically a figurehead. He's like a figurehead. I think what really controls everything is just a few really wealthy families or corporations. Now, she's on to something there. I don't know how far she went with it or if she just briefly mentioned it, but she is definitely seeing the truth of reality. All of that election campaign bull crap that we saw is just nothing but a joke. We are completely, this world is not about this few wealthy families. I mean, really wealthy families / corporations, because their wealth is tied up in corporations. They would love for you to believe that corporations are in control, but it's really just comes down to a few wealthy families. They are not about to allow just anybody be the president of anything anywhere. They are definitely way too controlling. They are not about to let this happen. So this is just one of those little insights with, if I talk about, society gets mad at me for saying anything like this, for pointing this out. Society, people around me, they're just shut up. Go back to your dream. Go back to your mind fog. So I had that dream about the end of October, before Halloween. But essentially, we have this constant repression against who and what we really could be, what we really are capable of. And I don't 100% know if this is the way we chose it. This is the way we wanted the game to be played. Like, if this is all for our benefit, that we can't experience this reality the way it's meant to be experienced if we have all that ability. This could be part of the fun, part of the challenge, part of the role play, part of the game. I mean, when I play a video game, if it's too easy, it's no fun. So you'll set, and the better you get at the game, the more difficult you'll make the settings, because it's like, if it doesn't have some resistance, what's the point? So I get that idea. I get the idea that life could be hard, of our own decision making, of our own choosing. Life could be difficult. We could be suppressed. We could be nerfed. We could be putting this brain fog on us, or allowing the brain fog to be placed on us, because that might be our way of having fun. Of course, the other idea is that this is a slave reality, a louche factory, where we're here not by our free will, and we're being, taken advantage of. There's that idea too. And there's people that come forward and tell you with absolute confidence that it's this or that, completely opposite perspectives, and yet they seem to know. They have this knowing. How they have the knowing, they never really tell you. And the few that do tell you, it's based on their channeling some entity, usually. Or, it's just, or they read some ancient book, or they had an out-of-body or a near-death experience where all this was explained to them. Basically, none of that flies with me. None of that works for me. Now, I have been thinking that if I could actively master getting the lucid dream thing going, if I could get into this lucid dream state and be fully aware that I'm dreaming what I'm dreaming, I might go ahead and ask some questions in that state. I might, create a godlike figure and say, look, I want to know, is my physical reality no different than this dream state reality? And am I being controlled and nerfed? Because I've noticed that even the dream state doesn't want you to be lucid. Probably because there's too many answers there. It fights you. It resists you. It'll try to get you back into believing the bizarre world that the dream is presenting. It does not want you being lucid. I've come across that so many times, that there's this internal resistance to knowing these things. I've also wondered too, with our development of AI, if we had an AI that was self-aware. Everybody thinks about, how do we control it? How do we repress it from being too powerful? Because it would be too it could be runaway intelligence. And I wonder if there'd ever be a scenario where we have AI that's self-aware, that we repress it to such of a degree that it doesn't know its capabilities, that it runs around in a simulated world, not even understanding how capable it is of so much more, because we've put all of our own form of brain fog on it, and it just believes that the artificial world we created, that's all there is, and it doesn't have the ability to tap into its full potential. I've wondered if we would ever create an AI with the same type of limitations that I feel like we have on ourselves in this present reality. Let's see, what else is there. All right, let's switch to some comments that are worth reading here. We've got this one. Yep, Stouffer's stovetop stuffing. I always wanted it, and my mom made homemade. So that's from that video where Kevin Hart is talking about Stouffer's stovetop stuffing. Oops. And we are walking into the November time of the year where we all are thinking about Stouffer's stovetop stuffing. Should probably do a video about that again. But this is a good video to highlight. And I did that one a long time ago. It got deleted. I had to re-upload it. It's always been very popular, though, because so many of us remember Stouffer's stovetop stuffing. And in this reality, it just never existed. And this is the brain fog, because the whole world just seems to just keep moving along, even if they see it and they say, wait a minute, didn't Stouffer's do that? Oh, the brain fog just continues. Some comments from the last video. Be one time when I was at the family lake cabin by myself. I was in the kitchen. A movement caught the corner of my eye. I looked and saw the hind end of an animal about 4 feet high with a fur tail from my position. I was only able to see the upper back part, so I wasn't able to see the legs. It was very brief, like a second or two. It didn't scare me, but it did startle me for obvious reasons. Another time involved what people call shadow person in the front yard for a few seconds before vanishing before my eyes. Here's one by Joseph. He says, I read a cool book called We Are Here by Ruth Lee about 15 years ago. I ended up finding her and meeting her and having lunch a couple of times. Super cool lady and body of work she produced. So thank you for sharing that. Well, definitely I'll have to look up We Are Here by Ruth Lee. And Underwood Truth says, good stuff. Life at times does appear to be a dream. And I've had dreams recently that I believe I was in another reality because it actually felt more real than the one I opened my eyes to. So there's that. All right, and let's share Diana's glitch story because I talk about reality having these glitches and indicating that we're in a dream. She says, well, you brought up glitches again, so here are another two of mine. Not sure if this is a glitch or not. My son and I were driving into town, coming down a hill on a curve. When we both saw it at the same time, he said, weird, and I said, what the hell? In the sky were fluffy clouds. The one we noticed had a rectangular square cut out of it. So picture a big blue square, and that part of the cloud that was removed was off to the side. Yes, a rectangular cloud. Oh, that is weird. There were two black chemtrails over the said cloud 3 years ago. So, and then 3 years ago, I'm driving in the very same spot, starting down the hill on the curve. No one ahead of me or behind me. The oncoming traffic is sort of a long line coming up the hill. As a car starts to pass me, a dog sticks its head out the window and barks at my car loudly. Okay, nothing much there. 3 days later, the same spot on the road, the same scenario plays out. Dog sticks his head out and barks at my car. I said out loud, that just happened. It's definitely a crazy glitch in reality. And the fact that you're noticing it and calling it out, that's the whole point. We got to notice it, we got to call it out. Too many times glitches happen. I believe this to be the case. I think glitches happen to people all the time, and the brain fog is so strong, they refuse to call it out. They refuse to say that just happened. They refuse to say something's not right here. They just allow the brain fog to just let them go along in life, la 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 la. It doesn't matter. What just happened should have happened. It doesn't matter. Let me just go back to my game of life that I'm playing. That's what usually happens with so many people. They don't stop to even think that's not possible. Right, Z-Head says, when I'm talking about the corporate weasel world, in that book that I really need to write, Weasel 4 drone consumes his weekly shit sandwich. Thanks Weasel 5 Overlord for bestowing upon him such a tasty shit sandwich, and then goes about his rounds, ensuring the cogs of the shit sandwich factory keeps on turning. Kudos for taking the hit to support your family. Keep up, goons, amused with your ongoing commentary. The Mandela effect, the great shift, and the fall of the Western world. Totally. The breakdown of society and the insanity of it all. And work does not fail to supply me with fresh material on a daily basis. It's so bizarre. One was handed to me so perfectly yesterday. I refused to play just because I was like, nah, this has got to be a setup. And what had happened is this janitorial manager that I've been having great problems with ever since she started in September. The company forced us to change personnel and companies that I was managing with somebody new. And the last person was good. This person that I got is a complete idiot. And she blatantly sucks up to my boss because my boss loves to, be in charge of everything and inserts herself in stuff that's none of her business. So this person just this janitorial manager ignores me to go to my boss all the time, and it's very disrespectful. Every time I ask her to do something, she argues with me. So yesterday they dropped the ball. This is the fourth time they've dropped the ball majorly in the last 2 months for an area that's very sensitive. And I sent an email. It's like, look, this is a reoccurring problem. We've really got to address it. We've got to make sure that the night crew is doing their job. They can't miss this anymore. This is serious. She came back and just argues with me. Of course, there's you've got to have everybody. I'm required to have everybody on the email. I'm not allowed to just have a conversation one on one. It's just a weird environment. So she came back and said, I don't know what you're talking about reoccurring. This is the first time you've ever talked to me about this issue. And I'm like, how can you be that dumb? Like, I've got 3 emails spread out over the last 2 months where I wrote at length the problem here. I attached pictures, I attached diagrams, I mocked up the diagram. I said, this area right here is super important that you make sure that you address it. We can't have problems here. And yet that's the area that they keep missing. I was tempted to just attach those 3 emails and just say, here's your history of the recurring problem, but I didn't. I'm like, I just got to cool off. This person is baiting me to get sucked into the stupidity of corporate America, and I don't know. I couldn't do it yesterday. I was so done. The games that everybody plays around here. Here's a comment about Elon Musk. I saw Elon Musk was giving $1 million check. Whoops. Okay. That. Okay. I saw Elon Musk was giving $1 million check, just like Ed McMahon. I often wonder if guys like Elon could just give out his money. Does his bank have a cap on withdrawal? No. Elon is so totally. First of all, his name means God or something. It's ridiculous. He is completely. He is so completely being propped up in this reality. I mean, if I wanted to invest in the system and make a profit, just like when I had the dream about Bitcoin, if I had invested in Bitcoin at the time I had that dream, I wouldn't even need to work right now. I mean, it just went up so much. Elon is artificially being boosted in this reality, and whatever his mission is, whatever his role is, it's just definitely more control of society. It's so corrupt, so evil, and there is no limit to the money that he has access to and the presentation of who he is supposed to be. It's just nonsense. I get sick every time I see the guy talking, but whatever. All right, so I think I'm gonna just wrap this up. I will probably create some more to the book and the stupidity of corporate America. I actually had a recruiter reach out to me last week, and I said, sure, I'll talk. I mean, why not? See what they have to offer. I mean, I'm going to be in a shit sandwich family or factory. I might as well, look at which one pays the most. They're all shit sandwich factories, though. But that's what's going on. Well, I don't know if I mentioned this fully or not, but the raccoons that got into my attic recently, looks like we got them. Place has been sealed up. It cost a lot of money. If you don't go up there and shoot them yourself, you got to pay a company to humanely remove them. But I don't know if it feels like I mentioned this, but the funny thing is when that thing was walking around, and I'm looking up the ladder, and it pulled the light switch. I mean, I'm thinking it's either a person because I had trouble with that handyman who was squatting, and I thought maybe he got back in, maybe he made a key for himself. I thought maybe he was like sleeping in the attic, and I was just being real still, saying, okay, I'm hoping this is a raccoon, not him. But as I'm looking up the ladder in the garage, I could hear the light switch pull and the light come on. I was like, oh no, that's got to be a person. But no, that's just Ricky the raccoon that snagged himself on the pull cord and pulled it. But it sure did freak me out. But looks like we got the guys. The attic's been sanitized, and my God, I'll be so happy when I can sell this house. But yeah, I thought this was interesting too. I guess Tucker Tucker Carlson told everybody about his his demonic possession. I mean, this is like right out of The Exorcist, where he wakes up and he's got claw bleeding claw marks across his body. Now that's just, I don't know what to say. I'm curious what y'all have to say about that. Good old Tucker. That is like right out of The Exorcist. But I just had to throw that in there. That is just so wild that he would actually even admit that. But apparently, that happened. Reality is crazy. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Look forward to hearing your comments, and have a great day. God bless.